Welcome to Bad Movie Beatdown. Today we're going to look at a certain ponytailed martial artist, Mr. Steven Seagal. Believe it or not, there was a time when Seagal was considered a hot property. He starred in a series of low-budget but high-earning action movies in the late 80s and early 90s. You may have heard of them: Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice. With his lightning-fast aikido and mysterious background, he was looking set to become the next Schwarzenegger, namely because people wanted to see him beat the shit out of people, not for his acting. And God help you if you ever saw a movie where Seagal actually attempted an accent.
I'm gonna keep coming back until somebody remembers seeing Richie.
Mamma mia! This was cemented by 1992's Under Siege, which was his first blockbuster. Warner Brothers, who Seagal made most of his early movies with, obviously wanted Seagal to sign up to the sequel. But, as we all know, Mr. Seagal had a bit of an ego on him, and that they had the power to make demands. Seagal would only do Under Siege 2 if they would finance his pet project. That pet project is what survivors have come to call On Deadly Ground, an environmentally aware action movie. Not only that, but Seagal actually made another demand. He wanted to direct it. That's right, folks, be afraid, because you really are watching a Steven Seagal film. Before we get into the review, I'd like to apologise because there will be changes in quality. You see, the UK version of the movie is cut by 1 minute 9 seconds to remove the more brutal moments, and obviously no review would be complete without these moments, so I've decided to use alternative sources, YouTube, to find the alternate scenes. I should also mention that this has come off a TV airing because, unfortunately, due to the whole cuts issue, there's no UK DVD release. I am aware that it has been released elsewhere, uncut on DVD, but I'm not going to import a shitty Seagal movie for the sake of a minute. So we open with the Aegis Oil Rig 59 on fire and a helicopter swoops down. Check out this first shot of Seagal in the movie. Wow, can you say ego? Compare that to the entrance of an Oscar-winning actor.
I got 4 guys down. And all because your goddamn pal Jennings lousy. Your goddamn pal Jennings lousy what?
Oh, it's just Michael Caine, no biggie. Caine in the mid-90s had very few parts come his way, so if you're wondering why he's here, there's your answer. Seagal plays oil fire specialist Forrest Taft. I'm not making that up, they actually named the character Forrest. This is gonna hurt, isn't it? Hugh, Forrest's cranky friend, has a theory.
I'm telling you, Forrest, if those goddamn preventers caused this, I told Jennings they weren't up to spec, but the sonbitch made me use them anyway.
But don't you dare question his logic.
Just can't figure out why somebody'd do that to his own rig. It doesn't make sense.
He really paying you that much money, Forrest? Now you believe him over your friends? Used to be a good man, Forrest. Now you're nothing but a whore.
A whore, I tells ya! A whore!
For $350,000? I'd fuck anything once!
That's exactly what he said when he started doing direct-to-video movies. Seagal finds there's no other way to contain the blaze but to blow up the rig, which allows for this shot of Seagal. Okay, I give it to Seagal, this shot is actually quite cool, even if his arrogance is starting to annoy me. Forrest tells what Hugh said to Jennings, played by Caine.
My oil is flowing all over the ocean instead of into my refinery where it's worth money to me. I'll have Eskimos and environmentalists probing all the orifices of my body for the next 2 weeks. Now, why the hell would I do that to myself on purpose?
I don't know, I kinda asked him the same thing. Doesn't really matter now, does it? I sort of blew up all the evidence, didn't I?
I guess you did.
Wait, why would I fit the 40 preventers in the first place? Oh, who cares, I'm evil! At the bar, Hugh continues to argue that something smells fishy.
Check out the requisition file on Aegis 1. Go ahead.
I got it to tape.
You got the clearance. I can't get in there, but you can. Check it out. Then we'll talk.
Listen to me. I left my day pack and some weapons up at your place. I think I'm gonna pick them up and go up into the hills.
Gee, I wonder if this will become important later. The way the writers are set up, I can't tell. A barfly starts harassing a Native American, and that intolerance starts making Seagal mad. Cue Seagal fighting the barfly's friends, causing much property damage. And I'm not going to say anything, but Seagal does have a fixation on the testicles.
Mr. Big Balls.
I'm just saying.
Steven Seagal is cock puncher.
I don't think you have the balls.
When he gets to the barfly, Forrest plays a little game.
We're gonna play a little game. We'll play the hand slap game. One man leaves the circle. I miss, you get a shot. You miss, I get a shot.
Forrest proceeds to humiliate the barfly. Now I would have thought that the fact that he makes him vomit would be punishment enough.
Ooh, that's disgusting. What is that, halibut?
But Seagal actually continues this scene even further, apparently unaware that Forrest has become just as much, if not more of, a bully than the barfly was in the first place.
What does it take? What does it take to change the essence of a man?
I need time to change.
Time. I do too.
That's right, beating people to a bloody pulp means that they've gained wisdom. What a wonderful message. I sure hope the men with the broken bones and busted nutsacks are similarly enlightened.
We're about to go on a sacred journey. This journey will be good for all people. But you must be careful.
Right.
Oh, but Seagal can make fun of him. Hypocrite. In case you haven't got the point that Jennings, and by extension all oil companies, are two-faced evil bastards, this should clear up the misconception.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of porcupine caribou make their way down from the Ogilvy Mountains to the coastal plains of Alaska. They come to feed off the tundra grasses and to have their children. Children like these little guys, right here. Who cares? We do, at Aegis Oil. Cut! Fuck, these animals stink. Bring me a washcloth.
This is the standard for Caine's embarrassing performance throughout the rest of the movie. I'd get used to it pretty quickly. It turns out that Jennings has a problem.
What's the position on Aegis 1?
Mr. Jennings, surely you understand that on any substantial construction project, particularly one of this size, there are inevitable delays.
How long do they say now?
21 days.
God damn it, we have 13 days! 13!
Sir, we already have 2 crews working full-time.
Then put on a 3rd crew! Why is this so hard for you to understand? Get out of here!
Sir, I'm not...
I don't give a shit! Now let me explain.
You look 10 years younger.
Get out! If it is not online and operational in 13 days, then the oil rights will revert back to the goddamn Eskimos. And that is not gonna happen.
This is despite the fact that the film claims they've had the rights for 20 years. What the hell were they doing for the last 20 years? Indeed, when Forrest looks at the file, he finds that many of the parts in the Aegis 1 rig fail safety tests. But there's an even more pressing problem for Aegis. Hugh is talking to the EPA. Jennings sends Dr. Cox to take care of the problem. Somehow Hugh has downloaded the Aegis 1 files to disk, even though he said earlier he didn't have access to them. Cox and a man then arrive and torture him. And again we see Seagal linger directly on the violence, even when he's got more than enough to make his point. First Hugh is bound, but when Dr. Cox struggles to find the evidence, he starts one of the most violent team leadership speeches in history.
Have you listened to yourself lately? Have you? Everything with you is I. There is no I in team. It is T-E-A-M. Team. I don't...
No! Okay, point made.
Fuck you! Fuck me! No, fuck you!
Okay, you've made your point, Seagal. Can we please get this over with?
Hey, you. You want to talk about faulty equipment? Well, let's see how faulty this little pipe cutter is. Now, there you go. This is about the end of life fuel. Oh, no, God, no! What are you doing?
Jesus, enough! We get it! They're bad people! This violence is gratuitous even for an action movie! Indeed, the last part with the pipe cutter is actually entirely cut out the UK version, and the scene runs better without it, in my opinion.
Aegis Oil has now determined what little spillage there was in this week's accident was contained so effectively by our environmental impact crews that only minimal disruption of the area's ecosystem will result.
It's called an ecosystem! Or maybe Seagal's so heavy-handed that he actually wants us to believe that oil companies have never heard of the word.
But the people here want to talk about the poisons in their environment that weren't here before Aegis Oil came to town. We want to talk about increased rates of skin cancer, women who fail to ovulate, and when they do, they give birth to abnormal babies.
Blood of all people is upon you, Mr. Jennings.
Oil is evil! Forrest tells James that he knows about Aegis 1.
I gotta say, I'm a little ashamed of you. I'd just like to ask you something. How much is enough? How much money is enough?
That's right, you show that company who's boss! But there's been another accident, and Seagal is sent to investigate. But it turns out it's a trap, and the Aegis have sent him there to blow him up! Luckily, some Eskimos see the smoke and rescue Forrest. I haven't mentioned yet the obviously dubbed-in dialogue in the background of crowd scenes, which naturally takes Seagal's side, even when it doesn't make any sense.
Hey, Forrest is here! And fire the now!
This guy doesn't have a fucking clue.
We have tentatively identified at least 2 of the conspirators as former Aegis employees who appear to have died in the latest explosion.
Meanwhile, with Forrest... Did someone slip something into my tea?
He thought you were a bear. He still thinks you might be a bear. He hasn't decided yet.
No. You tell him I'm a mouse. Hiding from the hawks in the house of a raven.
Can you believe that people actually get paid to write dialogue like this? And that sounds like a man with a severe case of constipation. Forrest tries to ride off, but... Not my manly balls! Anyway, Masu, played by Joan Chen, and her father Saluk think that Forrest has a great spirit. To help find it, they put Forrest to sleep. This results in something you might see after some bad mushrooms. Chanting, nudity, bear fighting, rivers and soft focus. Then we get a scene where Forrest must choose between a half-naked woman symbolising evil and an old Eskimo woman symbolising good. Symbolism! Apparently, Forrest finds the old Eskimo woman a gilf and goes with her. She essentially tells him that he is the chosen one and must save the world from the evils of oil. And then he has sex with her. Just kidding. That's gross. Saluk pulls Forrest out of the river, now being spiritually enlightened. Wait a tick, does that mean the part where Forrest was thrown into the river actually happened? Wow, Saluk is a dick. Dr. Cox comes to the village in search of Forrest in case he's still alive. Things take a turn for the worst after they find an empty coat. Yeah, because that's conclusive proof. Dr. Cox responds by shooting Saluk for no reason.
Watch you die.
Remember that. Forrest is riding away on a sled from the village and wait a second, he's still wearing his coat! Hello, continuity! Suddenly he turns back around and goes back to the village because he's got Seagal sense powers that tell him when something bad has happened. That's the only reason I can guess for this. Saluk gives Forrest an emblem to connect with the psychic hotline, spirit world. But thankfully we don't get any more trippy visions. And then he dies. And then his spirit gets passed into a bird. I'm dead serious. Then they pull out a jet ski.
For emergencies.
So they make it to Hugh's place. And look, Forrest camping pack, as mentioned earlier, with a change of clothes and guns. Well, that was convenient. Hughes also stored the disc in the backpack. Okay, if the Aegis guys trashed the place that good, they would have searched the backpack too, not to mention there is no way Hugh could have stashed the disc in there that fast. Some Aegis goons find the abandoned jet ski and decide to go to Hugh's cabin. Seagal spots them coming and takes out two with a simultaneous gun blast. What's this? Looney Tunes?
That's all, folks.
Another two faceless goons enter. Gratuitous violence. They run out of bullets, so they wait to attack him one by one in hand-to-hand combat. Seagal wins, naturally. The Aegis team suggests hiring mercenaries as a change of tactics.
Spartax used mercenaries in the Philippines, sir. RDL used them in Angola.
Those are third world countries you're talking about.
Alaska's a third world country.
No, it isn't! It's not a country, it's a state! In the USA, which I think we all know is not a third world country. So the mercenaries, led by R. the Ermy, naturally, and includes Billy Bob Thornton, arrive. Elsewhere, Forrest discovers that Aegis 1 is a time bomb and decides to enact an enormous act of industrial sabotage.
Blowing up Aegis 1 is not the answer, Forrest. There are enough dead bodies. Let's leave it to the authorities. I know the press. Let's contact the press.
A sensible idea, you might think, considering they've got all the evidence against Aegis, or maybe even the EPA.
I mean, do you really think that this hocus-pocus spirit stuff is going to help us now? What do you think? Some angel is going to miraculously come down out of the sky and stop, say, 350 billion tons of oil from being spilled into our oceans every year? Maybe some ghost will stop all the cars from using gasoline. Maybe somehow some spirit will trip the big switch and all the technology that's been repressed for the last 70 years will suddenly be ours and it'll be a better place to live, a beautiful place.
Stop preaching!
See, I love the spirit world and I loved your father, but it doesn't matter right now. What really matters is the cold, hard reality of this world, and that's what we got to deal with. I didn't want to resort to violence. I don't have a choice. And I'm not taking any chances this time, because I can't.
Essentially what Forrest did was stick his fingers in his ears and go blah 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 blah. A solid argument, one might think.
Our man in D.C. finds nothing on this guy before 1987.
That's beautiful. Why, what's the matter? What's that supposed to mean?
Well, if I had to guess, I'd say it means he's company.
Company? Oh, now Forrest taps has been in the CIA? I don't think so.
CIA. NSA, maybe.
So that would explain why he's so good at fighting. Also known as the Under Siege excuse, because Casey Ryback, also played by Seagal, was a chef who turned out to be an ex-Navy SEAL. Forrest knows he's being tracked and uses a comm device to create a signal and therefore bring them to him. The mercenaries take the bait and start moving on horseback. Forrest then takes a load of explosives from an Aegis shack before setting a bomb that blows up the helicopter. Then Forrest starts laying traps for the mercenaries, and we get to see what would happen if Steven Seagal played Pierce Brosnan's role in Seraphim Falls.
Hold it up! Wait a minute!
A much shorter movie. Forrest then gets the drop on his pursuers by laying a bomb so they can't jump over a cliff, but Dr. Cox knows they're heading for Aegis 1. Forrest intends to blow up the generator and makes his way inside. The first thing he does is use a drinks bottle duct taped to a gun as a makeshift silencer, which looks pretty comical. Damn it, Seagal, recycle! Think of the environment! So Forrest starts dicking with the Aegis 1 for the sake of humanity. Damn it! Those were new shoes! The generator shorts and Seagal detonates a bomb. Yeah, the environment's really going to be helped by releasing that shit into the air.
My guy in D.C. tells me that we are not dealing with the student here, we're dealing with the professor. He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
That's not dialogue, that's a blob of mixed metaphors. Besides, do we really need to picture Seagal in a bikini? Oh god, my eyes! It hurts! It hurts! Seagal shoots out some more mercenaries. Maybe I'm stupid, but isn't having machine gun battles in the middle of an oil rig extraordinarily dangerous? Elsewhere, Dr. Cox tells Jennings that they're getting the hell out of there. Jennings, long having descended into cartoon villainy, stays behind but everyone else scarpers. Cox and Jennings' assistant Lyles grab a helicopter, but Forrest starts firing away. As Cox scrambles, Forrest grabs him and throws him into the propeller. So much for, I will watch you die! Lyles drives by and accidentally crashes into an oil truck which explodes. It seems the most callous death in the film because, well, she's a secretary working for an evil company. Meanwhile, Arlie Ermey delivers some more odd dialogue.
I want you to protect this entrance like it was your sister's cherry, Tonto.
What if he's incestuous?
What do you think, stock in or out? What do you think?
I don't think it's going to make much difference.
Yeah? Well, I do, see, because when it's out, I kind of feel like a pussy, you know what I'm saying? And when it's in, it feels like, I don't know, meaner or something. And when I kill this son of a bitch, I won't feel good about myself. I won't feel solid.
A star in the making, folks. Seagal kills some more mercenaries before going up into a lift to plant a bomb inside to blow up Billy Bob and his friend. Wait, how would he know he was up there unless he actually went up it? Oh right, Seagal sense. Forrest is setting the preventer to explode to prevent an oil spill. Because it's just that easy. Arlie Ermey rises out of some oil he's been hiding in. He has a clear shot at his back and he could end this with a simple shot.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead, big boy. Make your move. And I'm gonna shove this goddamn shotgun up your ass and blow the top of your fucking head off.
Yep, the highly trained mercenary walks up to the incredibly dangerous guy, so close that he can have his gun flipped and used against him. This is a dumb movie. Jennings continues to try and operate the rig single-handedly. This would be a problem if he was a believable character in the first place, but thankfully he isn't. Forrest then fights some more mercenaries with an iron bar. These fight scenes are so one-sided that they're lame to watch. Not one person has laid a blow on Forrest in the whole movie. Not one. So finally, Forrest reaches Jennings. Obviously, we're not going to have a fight between Seagal and Caine, so whoever wins is going to be a total anti-climax.
You know, I've been thinking about this for a long time. What does one say to a man with no conscience? I'd like to tell you about the millions of people that you've made suffer. But I'd be a total idiot to think that you'd care.
Get off the soapbox! So Forrest lassos Jennings and hangs him over a pool of oil.
Go ahead! Shoot me, go on! Shoot me, you fucking coward! You haven't got the fucking guts!
I wouldn't dirty my bullets.
You macho asshole!
You're to work for me, Forrest. This is for my father.
Technically Jennings didn't really have any part in that. If you would like to see your father's killer, he's lying in a pool of blood without a face over there. Also, I love how Seagal just rambled about how Jennings is scum of the earth, and then proceeds to kill him when he's unarmed and helpless. Heroic irony, as I like to call it. Forrest and Masood race out as the Aegis 1 explodes. I would like to say that, above all else, the poisonous toxins raising in the smoke from the explosion would be just as environmentally damaging, if not more so, than just letting the rig operate. We then fade to the Alaskan state capitol, where Forrest is a speaker. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't have a guy who caused grand industrial sabotage, murder, and bankrupted a major source of the economy as a speaker, but hey, that's just me. This brings us to the film's most infamous scene, where Forrest preaches on about environmentally safe solutions. Now granted, I worry about the environment because I don't want to live in a smog hole, but Seagal's just lecturing the audience here. And he's no Al Gore. Some of it is downright conspiracy theory rambling.
They influence the media so that they can control our minds.
The alien messages, they're everywhere.
They've made it a crime to speak out for ourselves, and if we do so, we're called conspiracy nuts and we're laughed at.
Which is why we should listen to a Buddhist actor who plays people who kill in the name of good, an oil fire expert that killed people and caused terrorism, shit.
The reality of our lives is so grim, nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah, our world is so grim. Rising life expectancy, new medical cures, the benefits of technology. Believe it or not, this speech ran several times longer in the original cut of the movie, until Warner Brothers literally begs Seagal to reduce it to the length it is in the film. The credits are rolling, which means it's time to rush out like there was a fire, right? Wrong! Midway through the credits we get one final scene with Forrest and Masu in a boat.
Look.
It's Bird Salute! How delightfully corny. The rest of the credits then play over nature and wildlife shots in case you still haven't got the point yet. Seagal's overall message of the film is well intentioned, but it's lost in the violent action scenes and ego massage, and he actually becomes somewhat of a hypocrite. To be brutally honest, the whole idea was doomed from the start, because action movies just aren't a natural place for messages about the environment, especially when Seagal persistently blows shit up. And while you do have to give credit to Seagal for doing something so radically different, it's so poorly directed and written that it becomes hysterical. Seagal's star took a fatal hit with this movie. Although it opened at #1 at the US box office, word quickly spread about the dire quality and it was a flop. The subsequent Under Siege 2 also flopped the following year, likely from the damage that this film caused. Seagal would later retry his attempts at an environmental action movie with Fire Down Below and The Patriot, with limited success. Since then, Seagal has fallen into a whirlpool of decline, falling into direct-to-DVD garbage. Now you must be thinking, Matthew, why don't you review one of those movies? Well, all in good time, you know, all in good time, and I'm Matthew Buck, beating down bad movies everywhere.
Are you a man?
I am a man!
And you got big balls.